At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance. We are the future of crypto.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vibraville. Tonight we've got a special one. We're talking about all things that are popping off on TitanX right now. If you're not paying attention, Volt went crazy today, up another 35%. The auctions, what Steve has created there is absolutely epic. What's coming with the wheel, with Lotus, I believe, and Viper, all these things tying together to do one thing: burn TitanX and DragonX, the two pillars of the ecosystem. And so far, every project that has launched on top has been a success. It's just brought more green candles. And right now we're kind of decorrelating from the market. So what a time to be in the ecosystem. If you're new and you don't know what TitanX is, go back and watch some old videos because you will get extreme FOMO. On that note, what up, Rags?
What's up? How you doing, man?
Bro, every day in this ecosystem is just exciting. It feels like there's always something new. There's always a stream to catch, always green candles somewhere. Just feels amazing.
Completely agree. Hold on. My microphone's all messed up. All right. That's probably better. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I hear you much better.
Seems like there's a little bit of a delay. I don't know.
Yeah, there is. It looks like you're lagging a second or something.
Let me get out and hop back in, all right?
Yeah, sounds good. All right, always something here. My internet goes down, doesn't work when I go live, but it's all good. Say what up to you guys. Mobius, chasing the white rabbit. I like where your head's at. Facing reality, let's go. Godfather J6. Quinn, some crazy emojis. I don't even know what those are, but that looks like FOMO or looking at a Volt chart, your reaction. Yeah, Morpheus.win. Let's go. Scott, appreciate you being here. David Lee, chasing that white rabbit. He knows what's good too. Jamie X, appreciate you being in here. Yeah, Rags, little technical difficulties. Looking at the market today, I mean, not much. Typical day. But when you look at the TitanX hub, I mean, we're green, a lot of green, except a couple projects, but you know how it is. You're going to come up and down, bounce around. There we go.
Good to go now? Maybe.
I think it's still lagging because I hear an echo in my headphone.
Weird. Okay. All right. I'm going to shut down and I'll be right back. I'm going to shut completely down and come back.
10-4. And he's gone again. Lima Charlie gone. But all right, let's check. Yeah. Volt. Guys, look at this. Volt. Absolutely insane. Volt.win. The auctions. What Steve has done here. Never been seen before in crypto. And now what he's building on top of it. I got to get him back on stream so he can give us the full rundown of the flywheel that he's created here. But geez, almost 25% of the supply has been burnt. And we're on day 22 right now. Not even a month in, and a quarter of the supply is gone. The auction still has, how much is in there? Where am I at? The burn. 52 million left in here. So every day you can still mint Volt with TitanX. But the amount that comes out every day is only 20% of this. So You know, what's 20%? Well, 52, 11 million, 10 million, something like that. So each day, the amount that comes out and inflates is less and less and less, but you're still hitting the buy and burn again. It doubled down on it. So, guys, this thing is incredible because every day, look at this. There's the consistent buy and burn that goes too all the time. And I keep trying to figure out how to connect and collect a user reward, but it says you need to use like some MVNet version. I downloaded it, got on, and it still won't let me do it. So anyone that knows dev shit, yeah, yeah, I don't know why it doesn't work. I've tried to do it multiple times, but next burn period starts what's this burning every 5 minutes? Holy shit. I thought it was every hour. Nope. So the buy and burn has 5.4 million in it. But since that's right, that's now I'm remembering. Holy shit, because he didn't know how much was going to be in there. So every 5 minutes, if there wasn't that much, you need that to kind of be effective. But now that there's so much in here, this is what is that? 1.6 billion? Yeah, every 5 minutes. Absolutely wild. And this is just the start. There's 2 more things coming on top. All right, let's give it another try.
Test.
There we go.
Yes. Thank God. With freaking Windows updates, man. You don't know what you're going to get. Are you on Windows or Mac?
Hell, I've been on a Mac for like the last 15 years, bro.
Dude, I'm just an addict. I can't wean myself off of it, but I think that day's coming.
I was the same way. I was the same way, bro. And then I went to Mac, and I would never. It would be like a nightmare going back to a PC.
Well, dude, I went from Android to iPhone, and I was an Android maximalist, and then iPhone. I have no problems at all.
Dude, it's the same thing. I've had this MacBook Air for like 4 or 5 years now. I've never had one problem.
It's wild. I know. That's how it goes. How can they get it so right and Windows gets it so wrong?
Bro, it's I think they do it on purpose. So it's like car dealerships. They don't make any money selling the cars. All the money's in the service shop.
Planned obsolescence, right?
Yeah. But Mo, what up, bro? Good to see you. Moon Mutt. All the legends in here tonight.
Love it.
But yeah, I was just talking about Volt for a little bit. That 25% of the supply has already been burnt.
Yeah, what the hell is going on with Volt right now, dude?
So, do you know how it works and stuff, or
I know roughly. So I've had my head so buried. I need you to bring me up to speed here.
So, when you mint 1-to-1 with TitanX, and when you do that, a portion of it goes into the buy and burn, a portion of it goes into the treasury.
Okay.
And so there was only a 10-day mint phase, but this shit blew up. So he, with the auto LP, he's got, I think, $11 million in LP now. So every time, every 5 minutes, the buy and burn kicks in, and there's $5.4 million. Where is it? In the buy and burn wallet right now. Or 5.4 million. So every 5 minutes, it's buying and burning $2,500 worth.
Yep.
It's using the TitanX that's in the from the mint phase.
Yep.
So so in essence, with the auction, every single day. So after day 10, the minting stopped. There was, I think, 150 or 200 million in the treasury, and then 20% of that every single day get used and put up for auction again. So if anyone was late, you can still come back and mint it, but a way worse rate. So you're, in essence, it's a double boost on the systems. Like, so
got it.
It's a huge penalty in essence for being late to mining.
So one token could potentially over time have multiple buyers. Kind of gets recycled and then it's reboosted into the system. It sounds like
the TitanX is used like almost multiple times. It's really cool. So now there's a shitload of buy pressure, and there's only 52 million more coins that are coming out. So every day at 10 o'clock, people get their coins. But now the rate, I mean, I did on my first auction, I did 400 million TitanX, and I got 98,000 coins. And this number here is going to be, you're going to get like 5% of this. What they show here, like mine was maybe like 400,000 or 500,000.
Yeah.
At first. So this rate is like 90% less. So
it's
the inflation
ripping.
is pretty much done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly, bro. This wild.
It's good, man. I'm dude. So this is this whole thing is just blowing up, man. It's blowing up because they're working together and they're focusing all of their effort on a single point, man. And then you have stuff like this with the auction. New stuff comes out, cool stuff comes out. Smart people are encouraged to go build cool things, and this is the result. Yeah,
We do 100%. And Steve didn't know really much about crypto before coming into Hex. I think a little bit late, and he was in Jake's mastermind.
Yeah.
And for all the people that, oh, Jake's a scammer because he has a mastermind. He sent me a DM seeing if I wanted to join his mastermind. He's a scammer. And I remember that was so funny. People were using that as FUD. And all the people that were in there are now launching projects on top that are very successful. It's really coincidental.
Yeah. I mean, I was one of the people, like, my thing was I didn't have like a relationship with him, and then I got the DM, and it was like it was cold, right? It's like a cold call.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, dude, what are you doing? Hang up. And then that was my only interaction with the guy. But yeah, dude, we are seeing what you do. What happens when you unleash ingenuity and creativity, put some guardrails in place so people don't wreck other people. And if it checks all the boxes, these things happen. Comes out of people's brains. Interesting stuff happens. I love it.
Yeah, bro. I say I never had talked to Jake before. I got that. It was obviously like a mass DM that went out to probably thousands of people or whatever. But like I every single day in my inbox, I get 10 random message or 10. I don't know if they're bots or whatever. Hey, you have a great project. Can I boost your account? Hey, would you like more followers? Hey, I saw that you're a founder now. Can we boost your account?
Yeah.
Can we boost? And it's nonstop.
Yeah.
And so at least, yeah, I was like, it was a professional message, whatever. It really didn't bother me at all that much. And then, I didn't never talk to him. He came into one of the streams one day and said something like, it was like, you think of me in the shower or something or something hilarious like that. And I was like, all right, respect. Like he said something just quietly that was funny as fuck. And then I just was like, all right, I kind of like this guy. And then he sent the white paper over for TitanX. And then from there, it was all we were talking about for weeks. And now to see the progress and how many people are using that same, like his same mentality. And I think a big part of it is because he's here every day. He's on stream with anyone. He's likes every post he can find. Like if you want to talk to him, like if you really want to try and you're a professional, whatever, I'm sure you can get a hold of him. And not many founders are like that. And people, how do you hate on that? It's hard to FUD that, whatever, when he's here every day, showing his face. It's awesome.
Dude, Vibra, I'm going to tell you something, dude. You have, you and you alone have made me a significant sum of money this bear market, because you are on the cutting edge of some of these projects that are just legit, man. Like, dude, the PTGC stuff too. The TitanX stuff. I think we were all kind of talking about that at the same time. I got in really early. Mm-hmm. I think I got in day 2, I believe. But man, thank you, dude.
Yeah, bro. No, anytime, man. It's like, bro, I'm like autistic with this shit. Like I literally watch guys. I don't know if you've seen this guy, Maximus Crypto. He's got 2 jobs, and then he puts together 45-minute, hour-long presentations about Stellar, Quant, Hedera, all the ties with the BIS and all the overlay, all this stuff. And like, that's all I watch is stuff about the new financial system that's coming, stuff about the economy, about BRICS and what's going on with Japan. Like, I'm like obsessed with this shit. Like, it's all I do. And I don't think people realize like how much stuff that I've covered or looked at. And once certain projects, they just stand out. I don't know what it is. I have an eye for it, but yeah, bro, it's just all about getting there early, identifying what's good, where people are going to go, trends. And yeah, you scream as loud as you can, but very few people actually listen.
Yeah, man, you're willing to do it. And I'll say that when I was streaming like 1 or 2 times a day there for, I don't know, like 18 or 20 months, I would always listen to Adam's shows because, dude, you had so much alpha, and I was able to kind of take some of the things that you were saying and dig deeper, and you helped me create a lot of my content. I tried to give you credit every single time I could, but dude, yeah, you're the real deal, man. You are the Rain Man. You are at least mildly autistic with this, and I thank you.
100%, bro. It's like, I feel like I'm doing, someone is like out of the group, is if you want to like take it to the next level, figure what's going on, someone's got to be on the ground doing research, just putting in the work. And then
Yeah.
from there, it ends up saving you time in the future. You can make the right moves, and you just got to get a feel, being able to talk to people inside of crypto, outside, that are all different walks of life, how they view crypto, what they see. And when you see 10 different people, how they react to the same news event, you can kind of just see where everything is going in a sense.
Did you ever, this was always very interesting to me when all you have to do is a little bit of research to uncover absolute gems. Nobody looks into stuff, man. And it's like, just scratch the surface for 15 or 20 minutes about something crazy you heard, and then it just opens up a whole new world. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Have you noticed that?
Dude, it's 100% what it is. And the people that take the time and actually watch the videos or stuff I send, they always come back with the same reaction. Not one person has been like, bro, I don't know, you sure about this? Like, this shit's whack, or I don't believe this, I've heard other stuff. Every single person is like, oh my God, how did I not know this? And because when you have people around you that you could trust, that are very good at one thing, and you take a little bit from that person and a little from the next person,
Yeah.
and you're getting like the cutting edge research that's coming out there from the best sources. It takes a long time to find those people, but once you find them, I mean, it's like I said, putting in that work, but very few people are willing to do it. But the ones that do, I'm telling you, a lot of people are seeing it, that follow us, and I've been in the chats here and paying attention. I get a lot of DMs from people being like, dude, I wish I had listened. I've been watching streams, but I was so caught up doing this other stuff, or I was so sure this other thing was going to work out, and I should have just listened all along. But people learn, and it's an awesome space we're in, especially this ecosystem.
Yeah, especially, man. And dude, I just wish I didn't have to sleep. I hate sleeping. I just lose so much time. Like, I love it because it's the ultimate medicine. But at the same time, dude, there's just so little time to absorb everything that I want to absorb every day. And energy is finite. So, dude, thank you, man. Thank you for being at the tip of the spear there, doing the research for us plebs and rocking and rolling. So you're talking about this crazy project called Morpheus. I mean, what should people know about this, man? This is kind of wild.
Dude, it's exactly the dream ecosystem, where you see stuff that came before with Baby Dragon X and Inferno and Blaze and Volt now, and you take a little bit from each one of them. You see what is working, what's not working, and you adapt and you progress. And Morpheus is something that it's similar to other projects, but it's unique in its own way.
Yeah,
And I love that about it.
I do too. I wish, dude, the day one is going to be awesome, right? Because day one of Morpheus, the mint phase kicks off. It's going to be 14 days. And day one, we're going to let you know how Morpheus is actually very different than everything out there. And, you know, like I said before, people are going to fade this. They're going to overlook this. They're going to roll their eyes. They're going to say, oh, it's just the same old stuff. This is not the same old stuff. And it doesn't stop with this mint phase. It doesn't stop at this launch. I'm very excited about this, man. I'm very excited because we get to do crypto the right way. We got a community of people behind us that care about the cool things that we're building, and we get to bring massive value to TitanX. We get to bring massive value to whoever we want to, and TitanX is going to be a primary beneficiary. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, bro, me too. And I like just how everybody's been supportive. You know, we watched Alien X, our homies Goo God and the Verse, Chaos Chris and Trent over there launched Alien X, the success of that. And it gives you inspiration to try to live up to what came before you, or it sets a bar to try to one up them. And it's no hate or anything. It's friendly competition and just evolving. That's what I meant earlier.
Yeah,
that was the word I was looking for. But
we do.
Yeah,
we observe and we observe. We adapt. We execute, and then we just keep doing that over and over and over again. And that's what's important here. I'm excited to actually. I'm going to read you guys this. Now, this has not been released yet. This is going to be the official white paper that is released prior to Morpheus
green
launching.
Paper.
The green paper is what we're gonna. It was called the red paper. We said, you know what? We're going green. It's called the green paper. I love this part, and this was not written by AI. Okay. The following message is not created by machines. It is created by a singular human mind. This human mind represents the aspirations of a society that will not be bound by the tyranny of those who seek to suppress thought, suppress speech, and liberty. All across our realm, dark clouds continue to gather on the horizon. For the first time in many decades, we are able to visualize the threats that approach from all directions. Propaganda sent by soulless overlords are purposefully seeded in young minds across the world, with the hope that a generation filled with trepidation from lies and deceit will mature into a generation of subservient sheep. With this expression of free will, we stand together to look evil squarely in the eye and demand our liberty. We will have no expectations that tyrants will treat us fairly. After all, is it not apparent that they seek their own self-preservation over the lives of billions? We are poisoned, we are tricked, we are fed immorality, we are stolen from. It is our time to come together to meet this threat wherever it exists. We will say no more. We support the moral good. We support the freedom of the people to live lives the way they see fit. We will provide security for those who seek security. We will provide opportunity where there is no opportunity. We will become unshakable in our pursuit of a better world. We will set people free from fear. Destiny, ladies and gentlemen, is in our own hands, and we will move swiftly towards building the realm that we see fit. I think that encompasses everything that this is about. Why do we participate? Why are we social about our support of Morpheus and TitanX and cryptocurrency, generally speaking? Certainly, we came from Pulse Chain and Hex as well. Guys, there's a real reality out there that says that there are people that do not want you to succeed. They don't see you as individuals. They see you as pawns. They see you as tools. They see you as body parts. They don't see you as a person. And we have to. It's so important to band together to make this whole cryptocurrency experiment stronger. And Morpheus is definitely going to lead the way. And we're going to actually get into this, guys. We'll go line by line to explain. And if you have questions, please post questions in the chat and we'll clarify for you. Does that sound good, Adam?
Yeah. Yeah, and bro, I think one thing we've been talking about, and I know people were worried about the up to 18 month for the buy and burn, but I think now with the ecosystem, how it's starting to really grow, you're seeing new people coming in daily. I think in another 6 to 12 months, I think it actually is going to be a good thing to have. It'll be a huge selling point potentially in the bear market to bring newer people in that feel like, oh, I'm too late to a bunch of projects. I actually kind of like it now, the more that I think about it. So,
Well, we have to view time within a bull market. We have to view time as money, and we have to view an asset that's sitting in a wallet for a longer duration. We have to view that as a higher value of money. So if we have a ton of TitanX in the buy and burn, and for those of you who may not understand what this is, there's going to be a mint phase. There's going to be a mint phase that lasts 14 days. And there is no in between. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a mint phase every single day. And that's one of the changes that we made as well. It's going to be an absolute sprint. When you mint Morpheus, TitanX goes into a wallet. And with that TitanX, there's a handful of things that are going to happen. But to tie this back in, I think the longer that we wait, isn't it advantageous to have a higher dollar value of TitanX in the wallet by not spending it all at the same time with the smart contract? We're going to let this grow. We're going to let this mature. And, maybe a 10% buy and burn today would be equivalent to a 1% buy and burn in 18 months after TitanX has run up very strongly. But the real alpha here is, and this will become very apparent soon, the buy and burn for Morpheus, actually, it doesn't matter. The buy and burn really doesn't matter. And that's what's crazy about all this. Is it going to help? Yes, certainly going to help. But it's not going to matter, which is, it's pretty fun to talk about. We'll talk about that day one. How about that?
oh yeah, dude, this is, yeah, bro. I'm super excited for this. This is that I didn't even think about that either. Is what the price could potentially be in another year from now. So at that point, yeah, I think people actually no for yeah, people might regret it or say, man, I wish we did it differently. But this is gonna ensure that we have a huge ass, potentially a world record buy and burn in a year from now.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, guys, this is a longer play, but things are going to come into focus very, very soon after launch. You guys will see. But that buy and burn wallet, there's something else interesting about Morpheus. There is a sliding scale between 1% and 10% that can be adjusted with the buy and burn. So, for example, if the market is absolutely tanking, maybe the buy and burn gets reduced down to a 1% buy and burn. So we don't siphon all that money off to provide exit liquidity for people who seek to hurt the chart. However, if the market's pumping, there may be mechanisms built into the contract that allows the buy and burn to go all the way up to 10% in any given time or anywhere in between. So that is something that's pretty cool in terms of flexibility here. And that's what we're going to utilize. That's what the smart contract is going to do here. Did you know about that, Adam?
I didn't know about that. I like that too. And my gut would say, well, yeah, slow it way down when the market's dumping. When the market is really taking off, don't waste it. But when we're going sideways and nothing is happening on a random day, crank the shit out of it and say, whoa, where did that pump come from?
Yeah. Yeah. Why not build in that flexibility? Now, make no mistake, there's no economic value that can be transferred out of that wallet. I want to say that to everybody here. However, there is a slider and it will range between 1% and 10%. At approximately 2.1%, I believe the buy and burn wallet is slated to last 540 days. It could last longer, depending how long we're underneath that 2.1%, or it could last shorter, depending on how far over that 2% threshold we are. But that's just a general calculation to give people kind of an idea of how that works. So very, very excited about that. Let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes here. For people that are just joining, you might have seen a similar graphic. This has been changed and updated. So when you go to mint Morpheus, you're going to take TitanX. You're going to go to the DApp on Morpheus.win when it is live, and you're going to mint Morpheus with TitanX. The first day, it's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio. Every day after that, it's going to decay by 4%. So the second day, it's going to be 4% less. The third day, another 4%, totaling 8%, et cetera, all the way down to 14 days. So by 14 days, do the math there. I think it's somewhere in the range of 60% less Morpheus that you would receive for one TitanX. Now the question is, well, why would anybody decide to do that? Why would anybody mint on day 14 if it's 60% less? Well, the question you have to ask yourself is, what is the price of Morpheus on Uniswap? Okay. If the price of Morpheus is higher on Uniswap than it is to mint, then you're going to mint, and vice versa. Also, there's ratio plays, and you can kind of take a look at the price of other assets. DragonX, for example, is compared to Morpheus. If you have DragonX, it might be beneficial to sell into Morpheus or buy into TitanX to mint more Morpheus. So there's opportunities here to kind of play the market for 14 days straight. You're going to mint with TitanX. When you mint with TitanX, 20% of that TitanX is going to be sent to the DragonX vault. We are supporting DragonX in this endeavor. We love TitanX, but there are some very interesting features of DragonX that I believe will really, really push things up, and we want to hang our hats Morpheus with DragonX. So 20% of submitted TitanX sent to the DragonX vault, 8% of TitanX is going to be sent to a no expectations wallet. So as soon as you mint, this is what's happening. Okay. Now, when 50 billion TitanX is collected, so when the contract sees that 50 billion is collected, anytime during that 14-day period, as soon as 50 billion hits, TitanX will be swapped for DragonX and then paired with Morpheus. The LP creation is controlled by a smart contract. It is not controlled by a human. So it's watching, it's listening, it's passively looking at the total value there. Once 50 billion TitanX is collected through minting, it's automatically going to swap that 50 billion for DragonX, and then it's going to pair Morpheus with DragonX, creating that first pool. The question then becomes, are you going to be able to rug that pool? No, we're not going to rug that pool. The NFT that is created when the LP is created is going to live in the contract, and we can never remove that. The fees associated with that pool are scraped by the contract. The Morpheus is burned. The DragonX is going to go to the no expectations wallet. So that is the LP creation. Do you have any questions there, Adam? Does that make sense?
Godfather J6 says, where does the Morpheus come from to pair it with the DragonX there?
Yep. The Morpheus is created at that time. So the Morpheus, roughly, whatever that is, 50 billion Morpheus, more or less, it's going to be almost instantaneous, is going to be paired with an equivalent amount of DragonX after TitanX is swapped for DragonX. So that's what happens. The contract mints that. That's how that happens, Godfather. Yep, 50 billion.
Yep, exactly. Right. When
Cool.
when you go and you mint 1-to-1, you give up your TitanX, and that's where the Morpheus is created or minted.
Yeah, well, for the LP creation, the Morpheus is created by the contract as soon as the 50 billion is hit. So it's going to be created out of thin air, and it's going to be paired. So there's not going to be any sort of sell pressure whatsoever on Morpheus.
So up until 50 billion, the TitanX is just going to sit in a wallet until it hits that threshold. Okay.
Yep. And boom, it all happens at the same time. I've got nothing to do with it. Nobody has anything to do with it. It happens via smart contract here. Good. Okay. So the next, go ahead.
I was saying people we saw early on with TitanX that a lot of the FUD was, well, the buy and burn contract's not renounced. Jake could, theoretically rug pull it or steal it or whatever. But he's clearly shown that he's been using it for a benevolent reason. He's given the reasons why he had to do it. And it prevented also, so I think bots from coming in and front running massive buy and burn. So there was a lot of things that, having it not manually done, but not automatically in a smart contract renounced was not the way to go. It left a lot of vulnerabilities. So, people at some point, you got to trust the team and the people behind it. That at what point do they have too much to lose to do something stupid and ruin your entire reputation, trying to, take a buy and burn out of here. And it's not going to happen. But I know people had brought up some of that FUD in the past with, well, how come you can't renounce those contracts? So just wanted to kind of clear that up.
And this contract is the most decentralized, minus the sliding scale for the buy and burn. It's the most decentralized contract rendition of this contract that you could possibly have. No human even creates the LP. Okay, that is done completely by the contract. The thing that I really, really like about this is it's one for one. It's creation, right? There's no other Morpheus that's going to exist besides that small amount of Morpheus that's minted when 50 billion TitanX is collected. No other Morpheus is going to exist. It all depends on who takes their TitanX and mints for Morpheus. And then once that supply is hit at the end of the 14 days, whatever's there is the only supply that will ever exist, and it's only going to go down. And we'll kind of talk about how it's going to go down. But I love that. There's no, pre-allocation. There's no, backdoor deals with people. It's pure, it's clean, it's verifiable in the contract, and we can't touch it. So super cool.
Yep. Yeah, bro, this is well thought out. And like out of all, like I've seen a lot of people in this space, worked with a lot of people, and Brandon is the one person that by far goes out of his way to make sure everything is done properly, is done right. Nothing was forgotten, looked behind, or not double checked, every T crossed, I dotted. So you've done your homework here, bro. You've gone the extra mile on everything. I mean, I wouldn't say you overkill, but you've made a conscious effort to make sure that this is as decentralized as possible, as fair as possible, and everything is as perfect as it could be.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And I'll tell you guys this. There is a bad actor. I have no idea who it is, but I observe and I look on chain with all these launches. There's a bad actor that's out there trying to extract value from people during launches. So one of the reasons why the team inside the Morpheus Telegram has been very reluctant to talk about launch dates is because we don't want to give that person any advantage whatsoever. So that's I wanted to point that out to say that we have done everything possible that we can behind the scenes to make sure that this launch is absolutely as fair as possible. And the interesting thing here is because it's a one-to-one mint, it's like, why would people be dumping on day one if it's a one-to-one mint, right? Be very, very smart. Be very, very careful about this. There is volatility for the first 14 days. There's going to be ARB opportunities for some of the smart folks out there. Maybe somebody makes a spreadsheet and throws it out there. I don't know what happens. But just be patient. The same rules apply. Don't ape in. It's not about aping in. It's all about keeping your stack intact so you can run through this bull run. But I want to talk about the public buy and burn function or button. You ready to talk about that?
Let's go.
Cool. So we've talked about what happens when you take a TitanX, you put it into the DApp, and you receive Morpheus. You're going to receive the Morpheus at the end of every mint day. So you're not going to get it right away. Don't freak out. You'll be able to see that very plainly, very clearly. There'll be notifications there. But 20% goes to the TitanX, or TitanX goes to the DragonX vault. 8% gets sent to the no expectations. Now, after the 50 billion is created, there's going to be a large chunk of TitanX that is left in that wallet, right? So what's going to happen with the remaining TitanX? There's going to be a button that you can go to on the front end on the website. It's going to be publicly callable, and there's also going to be a reward for calling this button. But anybody in the public, in the community, in the world can come, they can call this button, and it's going to trigger a TitanX. The TitanX buy and burn wallet is going to swap for DragonX. Okay, so let's say there's a 2% per day. It's going to swap for DragonX. 2% of that wallet amount of TitanX swaps for DragonX. 20% of that DragonX is going to be burned, and the remainder is going to be used to buy and burn Morpheus. It buys it and it removes it out of supply permanently. Gone. Okay? So we've got quite a few mechanisms that are built into Morpheus to ensure that the capped supply is actually deflationary, not disinflationary. There's not more supply that's going to be released in the future. All the supply that exists will be created within the first 14 days. And after that, the supply just goes down because of all the buy and burns, because of the liquidity scraping and burning Morpheus, because of the buy and burn from this contract. So does that make sense, Adam? All makes sense to you?
Yeah, bro. I like it too. And I wonder, I mean, I don't know if there's, I guess everyone that's in the TitanX, DragonX farm, trying to farm for Tank, that right there, I think in essence kind of helps them with the DragonX to TitanX swap right away.
Yeah.
Or the TitanX to DragonX swap. I mean, that's going to be a lot of money over time. And I'm assuming it's going to get routed to those farms.
Well, there's a couple interesting things here. So one of the reasons why we set it up this way is because we don't want to negatively affect the dollar value of TitanX in any way. So if you notice, TitanX is the input token for Morpheus. TitanX gets swapped for DragonX. When that swap occurs, the dollar value of TitanX is not going to be affected. And then when we have DragonX and the mechanisms are built in to swap that for Morpheus, again, the dollar value of DragonX isn't going to be affected. Now, if I were to do something like, if I have to sell and I sell out of, let's say I sell to Ethereum, for example, instead of DragonX, well, it's going to go back up to the DragonX pool, then it's going to go to the TitanX pool, and then it's going to sell for WETH. But instead, there's 2 or 3 hops in between that ensures that most of the economic energy, as long as people don't want to completely exit, is kind of secure in the system. And that's extremely important. And that is what has been taught within the TitanX ecosystem, which causes this funnel and it causes this focus of economic energy that really, really helps everybody out. So that's what I really, really like about the TitanX projects is they've all bought into this, and their primary liquidity pairing ultimately is TitanX. As you kind of go back up through those pillars there, very similar to maybe a primary pairing anywhere in Ethereum. They're going to pair it with WETH most likely. But with TitanX, they're going to pair it with TitanX, and only TitanX is paired with WETH. Well, the primary liquidity pairings. So that's a little bit of a word salad, but it works. It works very, very well. Now, the FUD out there is, well, TitanX isn't liquid. Okay. I remember when TitanX had $200,000 of liquidity. I think it might have had less. And then it had 500,000 of liquidity. And then it had 750,000 of WETH liquidity. And then it had 1 million. And then it had 2 million. All right. And going up to 3 million. Guys, this is how you get the flywheel started. Okay. Most projects don't launch with massive amounts of liquidity unless you're a multi-billionaire and you want to pump your own tokens. That's different. But this is what it looks like for a community to be spinning this up and doing well.
Volt is the perfect example of what you just said, where TitanX, I remember early on, people were saying it's Zen 2.0. People were laughing at Marco, telling him, oh, look at you, idiot. Look at the chart. Zen 2.0. Haha, you should have stayed with Pulse Chain. And it was comical. But Volt started with $5,000 in liquidity. And when I was telling people about Volt, some initial worries about it was, why are they starting with no liquidity? Why wouldn't they start with more than that? And Volt now on day 22 has $13 million of liquidity. So just from the 8 or 10% into the auto LP went from $5,000 initially to $13 million in 22 days. So all FUD talking about low liquidity. Anyone now that is super against it and is adamant about starting with more liquidity, I'd be wondering if they're the ones that are behind the behind sniping some of these early launches. Because there's no reason to make anybody vulnerable to extract any value out of the community. Makes zero sense. Why?
Well, there are sharks and there are vultures everywhere, guys. And I hate to break it to you, if you're new to crypto, they are everywhere, literally. Okay. So you have to be so careful. These people don't care about you. They don't care about any ethos. They don't care about morals. They're going to get their money. They're going to do everything that they can. They're going to social engineer people. Some of you guys have been, attacked that way. They're going to socially engineer Telegram groups. They're going to come in and they're going to try to force you to give hints and dates about when things are going to launch. And it's because they want to prepare themselves to be able to max extract. What's interesting about Volt and what's interesting about all the projects on TitanX ecosystem, any of these projects can take off at any time. Now with Volt, you've got $13 million liquidity, Volt tied up with TitanX. If somebody out there in Ethereum wants to purchase Volt, they're going to take their WETH and it's going to be routed through TitanX. And then it's going to come down to Volt. So you see that if there's only one way in and one way out, it's actually very beneficial to all the parties involved. And you have massive amounts of marketing opportunity because you have all of these projects who are independently going out there and trying to find ways to market their project to the world. And if one project does well, it brings positive attention to literally all the other projects out there. So that's what's really cool about this liquidity focus. Any project can pop off and it's going to bring attention to the whole ecosystem. It has to. And the charts are all going to benefit, starting with the input token TitanX and coming all the way down.
Yeah, it's a good point, bro. And I could attest to that, where with the Atropa ecosystem, when I was buying down and TSFI and up and legal, Chris was explaining all the ways to get in and out of them. And I just went to PulseX and went Pulse to that Craig slippage up to 6% and buy. I just bypassed all of it, paid all the slippage. If I'm doing that, I know other people with more money are doing the same thing. Instead of trying to find the most efficient rate, it's the people that can't afford to lose $5 on a transaction that are really trying to get the best rate they can everywhere. But when people are buying an astronomical amount, they don't give a shit about going to that other pair and then coming in with Dragon X to save a percent. They're just going right to Uniswap or going right into MetaMask and clicking swap ETH to whatever coin they want and hitting OK. And that's how people work.
$2,000 for swap. Yeah, that's fine because it's 0.0002% of the stack that I'm swapping for. So it doesn't matter.
Dude. It's a different, it's completely different. And there's a lot of people out there. Look, no matter how bad the economy is, if you go to Las Vegas, there are people gambling and losing more than your house is worth in one night. And that's just the way it is. There's a lot of people with money in this world, and we will keep on trucking. And I think the stock market is the perfect example of that. All year, war, election fraud, Joe Biden shitting his pants, everything's going to hell, Trump assassinations, yet the stock market is making new all-time highs consistently. So that just proves it's manipulated. We can't do anything about it. They're going to keep on going no matter what. And yeah.
So there's a interesting question in here. And guys, I encourage you to ask questions. I Killed Epstein says, maybe you could pop that question up too. How do you see the future of crypto and blockchain playing out if new coins and tokens are created at an increasing rate? Are we going to see a future where growth is only possible for new things? Let's take traditional finance, for example. Let's say the first person who created an ETF, and they said, everybody needs to get in my ETF. If you don't get in my ETF, it's just going to dilute everything. And then nobody's going to make any money. Then the second ETF came. Well, what was the marketing and network effect of that second ETF? Well, that second ETF might have reached 10 times the people as the first ETF. And then people ape into that ETF. But then they learn about another one. And they say, you know what? This is performing pretty well. Not as good as the one I'm in, but it seems to be stable. So then they get in that ETF. You have the VU and you have all these other, Vanguard's ETFs and tech ETFs and all sorts. Now you have blockchain ETFs. Anyway, fast forward to now, I think that there's 10,140. I think that's the latest estimate in terms of ETFs that exist across the world. And then kind of what happens to the value of the worldwide economy. It continues to increase. Now, why does it increase? Well, they're printing, obviously, but then there is also, there's more services being created. There's more products being created, and that's also pushing things up. The fact that there's 10,000 ETFs just means you have a whole lot of options and competition's pretty strong. So how do I see the future of crypto and blockchain playing out? I think that you're going to see a monumental shift of financial energy from traditional finance, $300 trillion of assets under management, that shifts over even 1% or 2 or 5% of that goes to blockchain. There's a lot of money out there to be distributed. And when you start to understand decentralized finance and you understand that these assets that are paired to Ethereum or paired to Bitcoin or paired to Solana, or paired to XRP, or paired to TitanX, or paired to Pulse Chain, these assets move up. Everything else paired with it moves up as well. So if you can start a solid foundation with a solid community that has buy-in, and things continue to get more buoyant price-wise because more financial energy is coming in, I see nothing but up for a very, very, very long time. And I think this is the future. I think decentralized finance is. I think that people will wake up to the sad realities of Bitcoin eventually, and there's going to be even more of a shift, but it's one giant asset class that's only going to move up, for the next, 50 to 100 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say look at the meme coin frenzy. How, it started last cycle with SHIB and Doge and a couple other ones. And then the bear market, look what happened. More started coming, and then it just got absolute with Pepe and that next round of them, and then Pump.Fun. It just got out of control, oversaturated, and died. And now only the real communities are there. And it's going to be the same thing with stuff moving forward. If you have a project that has a community product market fit and yeah, a good use case, I think you'll survive. But if you're here just trying to make money and sell wrapped up shit, rebranded, people are going to start seeing through that, and utility is going to matter really soon. I think when legislation comes in the real short future, within 6 to 8 months, it'll be a really different market where utility is going to lead the way. These assets will be tokenized, brought on chain, so there'll be a lot of value on there, and we'll just start looking at stuff a lot differently, and it'll all work itself out.
Yeah. I certainly in the short term, I think that like you're going to go to holiday dinners coming up in November and December if you're in the West here, all over the world, and your family's going to laugh at you. They're going to bring up crypto and they're going to kind of roll their eyes and say, Hey, Adam, yeah, tell me how the crypto thing's going. I see that XYZ token dumped 52% in the past year, blah, blah, blah. And they just kind of, they're laughing at you, but inside you're laughing at them. But also you're begging them to get exposure. Even if you took Bitcoin, for example, over the last, 15 years now, on average, Bitcoin has gone up per year. If you take the total gains and split it up over 15 years, 120 to 150% per year. Show me somewhere where that exists in the real world here. Millions and millions and millions of percents gains. Ethereum did a 14,000x, for example. TitanX bottomed. Who knows where the hell TitanX is going to go? I'm looking at the chart and it's looking pretty juicy. That's all I got to say. And then you get involved with leverage plays on type of TitanX, or if you're a Pulse Chain person, we're streaming from my channel right now. It's the same sort of thing. There's just so much opportunity. Let's build these bridges now. Let's start getting along with each other, because the fight that we're fighting is much bigger than this tribal blockchain BS here. We're fighting against people that don't want us to succeed. And I say that very, very literally. And if you don't believe me, just look at what's happened over the past 60, 70, 80 years and how quickly society is declining, but they're trying to wrap a nice red bow on top of everything and act like nothing's happening. So, yeah, I go on rants.
Oh, dude, it's real.
Yeah.
So it's so true. Really well said. And but just, I start getting to the point now where when, like, I don't pay attention to really any of the news, the mainstream stuff, to like the Fed numbers and all the statistics, because I think they're all bullshit at the end of the day. And when you see like Gary Gensler getting drilled by all the congressmen down there and them arguing and yelling at each other, and Maxine Waters, like a senile grandma, is up there trying to talk about digital assets and blockchain, like it's an embarrassment to the country. And when you just zoom out and look at what's going on, a bunch of adults yelling at each other, it's like, how the hell did we come here? And DeFi eliminates all of that. And it's going to all head there in the future. And we're just 2 to 3 years ahead of the mainstream and where things are going.
Yeah. We're 2 to 3 years ahead of our neighbor. The problem is, though, that these institutions that have been around for 100 years, 150 years, 200 years, they don't ever die, right? So they learn things, and then they're able to take that knowledge and pass it to the next person, and it kind of lives as its own organism, and it keeps getting stronger and bigger and better. And what they're trying to do is hijack decentralized finance and use it in such a way that allows them more control over us. So if we have tenets that we can stick to, if we can band together and work together and not trash each other, we might have some sort of a fighting chance. And I think that that's kind of, that's my mission with Morpheus. And that will be much more clear moving forward. And Adam, I think your mission too. We've got to break these barriers down, guys. We've got to zoom out, and we have to point the finger at the real enemy. And a lot of folks that we talk to, Adam, don't know who the real enemy is. And we can use this opportunity to vote with our dollars, or vote with whatever currency that we have. And we're saying, here's our vote of confidence in this asset with this community. We're moving forward together. We're going to do cool things. And we're going to rely on the ingenuity and the creativity of the people that are a part of this to move this whole thing forward too. But we have to value everybody in that way, and try not to trash people who don't agree with us. So easier said than done in some instances.
Yeah, bro, this is what Pulse Chain should have been. If everybody had with the same passion, I don't know if it was because it came so late and it came when people were so down, or people are still wrecked from it, but they're desperate. They can't afford to get into TitanX, so they just hate it that much more. I don't know what it is, but I just have a feeling once this keeps going, people are going to just buy in all these guys at such higher numbers. They're going to buy in way higher than now, and then all of a sudden be on the bandwagon and just forget about all the hatred they had for it. I saw it all last cycle. It'll happen again, but this is why I like Pulsar. This is why I like what the dude is building with Janice on Pulse Chain, and trying to tie these communities together, because I just am curious to see what happens if in another month or two, if ETH consistently stays at like 30 to 70 Gwei, and just to go and claim my my fees or my interest from my Element 280 NFT. Right now it's going to be like $200 total. Well, if gas is $37 to claim it, that now all of a sudden you got to look and say, okay, that's a big amount. That affects stuff. Now, when these other protocols, would people interact with them with smaller amounts if it was $44 to do a mint, and then a claim is going to be $45? So if you had $300 right now, you can do it for $15. Maybe you lose whatever 5%. Well, that 60 Gwei, when that's $40, $80 there, now you're losing a significant portion. Do people or does Jake maybe want to migrate to Pulse Chain earlier? Does it incentivize him to maybe take a look over there, or do new protocols kind of adjust the way they launch to try to minimize gas use?
Dude, these are big questions. I do want to go back and kind of give my thoughts on, I think you made the statement, this is what Pulse Chain should have been. In my mind, I think that we have to understand what Pulse Chain is. Pulse Chain is something that is created by a person who wants control over the initial launch. He wants massive control over the initial launch. It's hard for me to compare Pulse Chain to TitanX, because I understand what Pulse Chain is. It's a one-man show right now.
Pulse Chain community is what I should have said.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is what the Pulse Chain community should have been.
I like that. I agree.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be if these people that just didn't sit back and just trash and point fingers and feel down on themselves, what if they went and said, wow, there's people like Pulsar who are experimenting and trying to increase that interoperability between chains, and like raise those people up instead of trashing them. And then you could say, well, look at all these bad actors. Everybody just extracted XYZ. Okay. Throw that in the back seat, guys. Like, what are you going to do to make it better? Are you going to make it worse by just throwing salt in everybody's wounds? Are you going to cry about it? Are you going to bitch, moan, and complain because your bags aren't as high? You can do things to push this forward. One of the best things that you can do is learn. And a lot of people just parrot the stuff from a very small amount of people at the top. These are the demagogues and the overlords of crypto, and they're knuckleheads. So the best thing that you can do is arm yourself with knowledge. If you don't understand something, you've got so many resources now. You've got YouTube, and you've got ChatGPT, and you've got all these people that you can reach out to learn it yourself. It's so important. So, somebody says, Morpheus.win says 2013, 150K BTC for a house, 2017, 53 BTC for a house, 2021, 5 BTC for a house. Well, yeah, depending on if you're in Detroit, you can buy probably 3 houses for 1 BTC right now. Who knows? Crypto
Everyone
Compassion,
BTC
shout out.
Cash.
Say what?
You could get a house for a BTC Cash.
Oh no. uh, there it is. Is anyone here getting an ulti? Skip this question. It brings us off topic. Learning about new stuff. The market seems to demand it. Who ulti is by the who's it by? Steph, right? 0x Steph.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken. And you know, 0x Steph is a perfect example of, and this is also a perfect example of short-term memory. I was so astounded at how much 0x Steph completely trashed Hedron. And he poured salt in people's wounds. Alex was trying to do something really, really cool. And from what I remember, Steph would not back off. He was a bastard. And this is the type of behavior that really sucks for Steph, because now he's looking for support. If this is his token, he's looking for support for his thing now. Okay. But he burned all those bridges in the past. This is a shining example of why you should just be super, super careful about trashing people who are trying to move the ball forward. Alex certainly spent a tremendous amount of time and resources trying to build a really, really cool thing. And I remember that. And I know a lot of people will remember that. I don't know much about Ulti, but I do wish Ulti success. I do wish it success, because ultimately it helps everybody out there.
Yep. Alex was trash for building that, and yeah, even concussions cause you to hate Alex.
I streamed with, I think I was probably I think I was maybe the first or second person to bring Alex on. And the FUD that I heard behind closed doors, when he was talking about Hedron, like, it was wild, man. They were trashing him. They're like, this guy, he's just a one-man show. He doesn't have a team. He's not good like we are. Look at our thing. Don't worry about this guy doing this stuff over here. And Alex didn't give a damn. What a great example of somebody who realizes the blockchain's permissionless, and they can't stop him from hitting those keys on his keyboard to create something cool. And that's also a lesson that everybody needs to absorb too. It's permissionless. You can go and you can create things that you want to create, and you don't have to ask for permission from anybody. It's very important that you're going to create things that aren't going to hurt people intentionally, obviously. But it's permissionless. Go take advantage of that. Go learn how to code. Go hire somebody to help you out, and build an idea that you might have in your head. And don't take no for an answer. And don't feel like you should be shamed. If somebody's shaming you for doing something cool and trying to move this whole thing forward, block their asses, you know? And if they have legitimate criticisms, respond to those criticisms. If you don't have an answer, say, hey, I'll get back to you and get that answer. But it's all part of the learning process. So it's super, like, I don't know, it's like a high school mentality. You just push past it. Just fade these people, fade these dum-dums, and just focus on helping things out, not hurting things.
Yeah, it's one thing if it's coming from just a dum-dum that has no clue, but if it's coming from another project, a future project that's launching, that there's a reason for that. And that, to me, now that's something that I actually look for, is when people or projects are fudding certain things. Why? What are you worried about in your project? Are they coming after something you want? It just makes me think that, look at everybody here. Why the hell would we care what comes out in another week? We have our own thing going on. We have the support from the people that have chosen to support us, from all the marketing we've done, talking about this project. And it is what it is. We can do what we can do. But to come and tear someone down that's doing something else, it really shows your character. And more importantly, to me, it's a huge red flag. And a lot of those people are the ones behind the scenes that, like you said earlier, are robbing people right in front of their faces.
Dude, there's a spell, and I have to give people this. There is a spell that comes over people when they're influenced by somebody that's very, very outspoken. This spell like causes people to refuse any new knowledge. And we see this in politics. We see this in crypto. We see this in communities all over the world, whatever the instance case may be. The only way that you can break people out of this spell is if you talk truthfully and very plainly. Truth is the only thing that can pierce that veil. It's the only thing. And it's not guaranteed to, but if you have the right truth missile, it hits the person at the right time when their brain is opened up a little bit and it goes in there, it plants a seed. It plants the seed and people start to wake up and they say, wait a minute, you know, my parents didn't teach me to act this way, right? Am I being honest with myself when I'm volleying all of these accusations towards these people? When I actually know nothing about what I'm talking about, it's just regurgitated talking points. Have I looked into this? Have I studied this? Is this person really a bad actor? You got to speak truth to these things. You got to say it out loud. You can't be afraid of what people are going to say to you. Because if you are, then you're not going to wake other people up. And you got to wake people up with truth. And we got to speak more of it, not be afraid to.
Yeah. And oh yeah, truth and just being, you know, honest and authentic. And, you know, I always say like on my streams, the stuff that I talk about, projects, like, you know, I might be wrong about this stuff, but I'm not lying. Like I truly believe in this with all my heart. Everyone that I talk to, I tell the same thing. Like my message is the same to everybody. It doesn't change anywhere. And as long as you're being genuine, authentic, you know, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it matters. And then owning up to your mistakes. That's the hardest part. But then that'll also show you the people who have character. If you can publicly stand up and say, hey, I screwed up. If I can make it right, I'm going to make it right. And if I can't make it right now, I'll make it right in the future. And that's all you have. That's the only thing you can do. So, when you try to innovate or you try to push the ball forward, there's so much reputational equity that's at risk amongst your peers. Because if you fail, it's a little bit more difficult or a lot more difficult to be able to pick up, push through that failure, learn, adapt, and then execute again. It's extremely difficult, actually. But that's what needs to happen. That's exactly what needs to happen. Just don't stop. Don't give up on things. You know, business owners, before they're successful, they have a lot of failures. But what are those failures? Those are lessons. They've learned from those failures and they've adapted and they've executed and they've overcome. So that's where we're at. Guys, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about Pulse Chain. I love Pulse Chain. I'm excited about TitanX. Love TitanX. I'm super. I give a lot of credit and kudos to Jake because it's very hard to do what he has done to bring all these people together and create something that has potential. Potential doesn't mean anything, but if it only means something if you put work towards that potential, and that's what this entire community is doing right now.
Dude, he's working his ass off, bro. And you could tell like he truly loves it. And like that's the difference when you're working for somebody else, another business, whatever. If your heart's not in it, if it's not what you truly love, there's a huge difference. When you're doing what you truly love, it doesn't feel like work. You wouldn't be doing anything else. Like we're in a great spot with Jake as the founder. I don't see him changing one bit.
Yeah. You know, I'm super careful to, can you hear me by the way?
Yeah.
Good. I'm super careful to, and it doesn't jive in my personality. Like I give credit where credit's due, but I try not to put people on a pedestal. I definitely respect everything that Jake has put into this. And I hope he continues to execute the way that he has up until this point. And if he's honest and genuine with the community and myself, then that's going to be reciprocated. And there's going to be a mirror, and he's going to get that back in droves. And that's also a very, very important lesson for people to learn too. A lot of times the community can be a mirror of its leader. So right now he's putting a lot of work. He's doing the things that don't guarantee success, but certainly increase your chances of it.
100%.
Yeah, man.
Bro, I'm excited. And too, the thing that if people are worried about what happens, after day one, all these tokens are going to hit the market at once. Go look at Alien X. Go look at Awesome X. Go look at Volt. What happened? Because they were the same way where the mint went for the first day, and then you claimed your tokens 24 hours later. So it's extremely volatile. But the people that just held and didn't do anything seemed to work out just fine for all them. And the people that panicked and tried to sell and rebuy dips and profit this got wrecked.
And we've seen it. You can pull it up any chart, go to Dex Screener and take one of these projects that minted 1-for-1 for TitanX, and then they get their stuff and then they dump it. They dump it at a loss. And then that freaks the other guy out and he dumps it. You have a cascading effect. But what's interesting is the cost basis. You're actually sitting underneath that cost basis. So that asset is actually undervalued at that point. So what's going to happen when the market catches up? The market always catches up. The market is smarter than you are. The market's smarter than everybody. And it's going to find that equilibrium again. Guys, if you see people dumping with a 1-to-1 mint or less, it's an issue. Okay. Don't get freaked out. Don't get shaked out. Not financial advice. Just look at the chart, guys, and just think with your head here. These people are dumping at a loss because they're freaking out. Don't let them shake you out.
Oh, I was in Goo God's chat earlier, and they posted a screenshot. Somebody took 5 billion TitanX, minted the Alien X, and then panic sold it for 3.5 billion TitanX and took a 1.5 billion loss immediately.
It's just brutal. It's so brutal.
Like, what are you doing?
Well, I don't want to make fun of these people. My message to the person who did that is, you probably used too much money. You're too emotionally attached to that. And that's why you sold, because you thought you were going to lose it all. So your stack's probably too big that you're playing with. If you have a smaller stack, you can stomach that sort of volatility. That would certainly be the first message that I would give to that person or those potential people out there who have done this. Second message is crypto's a long game, guys. Crypto's a long game. Sometimes I refer to these as lotto tickets too. You can just use a small amount of money, put it in there, and then you forget about it. You can still pay your rent. Okay. You can still take your girlfriend out. You can buy her purse and do all this sort of stuff. And you don't have to worry about it. Don't use too much, guys. Don't get too emotionally attached to all this. And you'll be good. Sit back. And for the people who are patient and they do practice this sort of thing, they're going to be the people that win in the long run. You're not going to beat a patient person in crypto. You're not going to.
Nope. I witnessed it firsthand with my friends last cycle. That literally took $5,000. And when we were getting into Hex at 0.007, at Matic at a penny, VeChain at a penny, Cardano at 3 or 4 cents, my friends all bought these coins, bought one time, and literally did nothing, and came back a year later, and they had profited 250K from buying once, doing nothing. That's it. They did better than me, who was in and out, trying to buy this dip and catch this pump. I ended up getting hacked, getting wrecked, rug pulled. I mean, you name it. I made the mistake. And if I had just literally forgotten about the stuff, if my rule was when I buy, I don't ever sell until the top. If I had just done that, I would have multiple millions of dollars right now.
Yeah. Dude, I think we're spoiled too. Because guys, if you're new, there are places in cryptocurrency that literally like 80 to 90% of the projects out there are rug pulls. Mm-hmm. We're spoiled because that doesn't really exist here. It doesn't exist, where we came from. Pulse chain doesn't really exist there. Of course, there's a couple here and there. But we're spoiled in that way. But that's because we have a community that understands, and they have what? Knowledge. They can look at a contract. They understand what's important, first principles sort of thing. So dude, we are spoiled, man. Crypto out there is just degen, horrible, max extraction, the freaking Wild West, natural selection, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. And bro, I'm hearing a lot that they're gonna start cracking down on meme coins, and they're gonna start bringing some lawsuits. And I know that day is gonna come. And what happens when the Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini say, you know what, we're not gonna list any coins unless they are officially not securities from the SEC or labeled not securities. So all meme coins, everyone, you got to come register. The market would be a bloodbath the next day. And people don't think about these things, and we'd be unaffected. A lot of these utility coins, the stuff that I talk about on Stellar and XRP and Hedera, a lot of that stuff would be unaffected. So you got to always play devil's advocate on, yeah, everything is going to go great, but what if certain things happen? Are you prepared for that? Will you survive some kind of I don't know, shake up of the markets, or some kind of flip where Bitcoin and ETH kind of take a back seat and the utility stuff starts to run, and moving forward, the real world assets and tokenization and the stuff that moves money around the world and gaming maybe starts to pick up. I don't know where it goes, but there's going to be a flip that comes really soon. So be prepared. And that's why these ecosystems are so incredible. Pulse Chain and TitanX, because no matter what happens out there, if AI is popular, or if it's gaming, or if it's utility coins, it doesn't matter. We have big communities here. We're unaffected.
Yeah, and this is okay. Let's just not even talk about crypto. Let's talk about I don't know. Let's talk about the IRS. So what happens, guys? Over how many years now? You had the income tax was 1% or less, and then went to 2%, then went to 5%. Then I think at some point in the 40s or 50s, or maybe in the 50s or 60s, maybe it shot all the way up to 90% on the highest income earners. And then it dropped back down to 25 or 35%. Guys, here's the thing. The more money that you put into a bureaucracy like the IRS, the more agents they're going to hire, and the more they're going to go after citizens. And what's crazy is people literally in this chat right now, they think that a 35% income tax rate is good. They say, hey, I got to pay my fair share and help other members of society out. Are you going to say the same thing at 40? You pleb? Are you going to say the same thing at 50? What about when they start taxing 60%? You guys aren't getting your social security checks. Are you freaking kidding me here? And if they can't balance their checkbooks, what do they have to do? They got to steal it from you. They make money from taxation and inflation, right? So what's going to happen when they hire more SEC lawyers, okay, and SEC agents? They hire another 5,000. I think they're at 5,000 now. Hire another 5,000 guys. They're just going to come after, and they're going to eat people alive and chew them up and spit them out. That is why this election actually matters significantly for cryptocurrency. Okay. Can we promise, or can we feel secure that all the promises that were made by, for example, Donald Trump are going to come to fruition? We can't know the future. We ultimately do not know. And there's curveballs involved. But I guarantee you he represents the best shot for us to kick the ball down the road a little bit longer before they try to come and, max extract from the citizens and punch us all in the face and tell us what we can and can't do with our money. So this election matters quite a bit too. I didn't really see us going there, but I connected that in just now.
No, dude, it does matter. And that's actually from some of the people I talk to say that money on the sidelines is sitting there because of uncertainty where this is going. And once it's kind of clear whether it's going to be Trump or Kamala, a lot of money is going to then be deployed depending on how that goes. So it actually could be very impactful to crypto who wins this. Because if it's Kamala, I don't know if people would be as trigger happy into crypto as if a Trump victory happened.
Dude, and that's interesting too. That's a good point. I've heard Kamala try to answer basic questions about the economy. Adam, I got no confidence that I don't think she could have an intelligent conversation with you and I about the Federal Reserve, about interest rates, about how the economy runs. I don't think so. Off script, no way. I don't think so. She's just a placeholder. She's a placeholder and a puppet. It really seems. Now, if I'm being intellectually honest, could Donald Trump hold a conversation about that sort of thing? I feel pretty confident that he could do a whole lot better than Kamala. But ultimately, there's a bigger problem here, and it's the financial problem in the States. It's the financial problem in the world, globally, in the West. It's the financial problem in Japan. I would not want to be in Japan right now. Declining birth rates, the bubble of all bubbles is about to pop. They're running out of tools to be able to control inflation effectively. So, dude, that's why we choose this stuff. That's why we choose it. Because the gains are absolutely insane. There's no place in the world that you can get the amount of gains that you can in cryptocurrency with the right cryptocurrency, the right product market fit. And then there's the whole social aspect too. And then there's the whole aspect of being able to build this architecture on top of existing things. I just think it's so fascinating.
Yeah, bro. And dude, yeah, you said there's the amount of value that's extracted by like I love Karate Combat and some of the other projects on Hedera because I know it's the technology that's going to be used in the future. But right now, the H-Bar Foundation is so goddamn corrupt. They are literally just stealing millions of dollars of money that could be spent incredibly well, taking them to the forefront of crypto. But instead, they're all paying each other like they don't give a shit because they all made it rich. They don't care. They have no incentivization to take it to the next level. Whereas when people are all building their own things, they want to do the best they can. Their reputations are on the line, and that's going to eventually get flushed out. They're making changes right now, but just the difference in TitanX and how much money people are starting to make, and not even if you haven't made that much, I guarantee you haven't gotten destroyed. And it just shows me how much money really gets extracted by the bigger coins out there, the VC pump and dumps, the 50 million L2s out there. I mean, they are just out there to extract money. They don't give a shit about anything. And it really is sad to see. And when you look at TitanX, it just gives you hope and reinforces that when done right, crypto is extremely profitable. We can extract that value from these other chains and bring it to us where it will stay for good.
Yeah.
Or not chains, other ecosystems like ETH bros or Chainlink bros. Like these other guys are going to start eventually saying, screw this. Like you can't ignore green candles. Volt was #1 again on ETH for the 3rd time now. So think we've had a project now out of the ecosystem claim the #1 spot 3 times. That's incredible, bro. It just shows me we could do this 10 more times. And then it's only a matter of time before we just start going viral and people can't afford or can't not look and see what we're doing because there's going to be no way to fund this shit.
Right. And you've got, these are Pulse Chain people. TitanX was born out of off of Pulse Chain. I mean, Jake was listening to Richard Hart. He didn't agree. I interviewed him, and there's a lot of things that pissed him off about how, Pulse Chain went down. And if you guys want to check that interview out, you can check that. I think that was the last one I did. But all of the fundamentals and everything about proper DeFi that was learned from Richard, and it's permeating out into the world now. And if TitanX does well, there's going to be a ton of Pulse Chain people that do well too. Okay. And if Pulse Chain does well, there's going to be a ton of new TitanX people that are going to do well too, because they're going to have exposure to Pulse Chain. So tell me how this is bad for everything. Do you really think that, Joe Pleb out there, do you think that somebody buying a bag of TitanX is going to stop Richard Hart from making his thing awesome? No, it's not. It's not going to stop him at all. That dude's playing a different game. You got to understand the game that he's playing. Okay. So guys, support the people that are doing cool things. Have you seen that Netflix documentary? What's his name from the WWF? McMahon.
No,
Okay.
but I would love to see it. Vince is a legend.
Oh, this is an incredible. Okay, I really liked watching this because of the Ring Girls, and also because this guy was brought up in the wrestling business. His dad was in the wrestling business. He was around wrestlers. He had the opportunity to purchase the business. He had a small amount of time to raise the money to be able to purchase the business. He surprised his dad by purchasing the business from his dad. He came up with the money. And then every single step of the way, he took a risk to be able to do something better and take his business to the next level 3 or 4 different times. This is a very, very interesting point here. You remember the XFL?
Mm-hmm.
That was done by McMahon. Okay,
Yeah.
so he was trying to bring the wrestling and the entertainment into football. And nobody looked at McMahon and said, oh, wow, look at all this that he's done up until this point. The first failure that he had, dude, they just trashed him left and right. What else did he do? Did you know that he took the WWF? Did you know he took it public on the stock market? Most people don't know that. He took that company public from nothing. Okay, from absolutely nothing. Why? Because he was willing to go out there, try to innovate. He was taking risks. He was trying to move the ball forward. You will move the ball forward to a point, and sometimes the ball is going to stop and you're not going to succeed. You're going to get knocked back down. But as long as you learn, pick back up and keep going, you're good. That's what we have to do here. That's what we have to do with decentralized finance. This is why we've got to be cool with each other on both sides, both chains, Pulse chain, Ethereum, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly, bro. Well said. Vince McMahon, yeah, for everything he's done. The XFL, he tried something new and he's just crucified for it. But yeah, that's unfortunately the world we live in. And that's why this ecosystem is great, because people are the community is vetting new projects, and there's now kind of a new standard. If you want to be on the TitanX hub, you want to be listed with all the other projects, you need to, do X, Y, and Z. And there's now something clearly laid out. You got to have your audits done. You got to have your LP with TitanX. So if you have that done, it's a great thing of preventing bad things from happening. We have too much to lose at this point to let something kind of slip through the cracks and let some project come in that has something in the code that rug pulls something, because that's the one thing that trolls can leech onto and never let go of, that one thing. And if we can prevent that from happening, it's going to be, it's going to be something never seen before. And we are going to be the example of the perfect community.
Well, it's great. Vanilla Pulse Ray Vision. Dude, what is up, man? What is up, you sexy thing, you? No homo. Love hanging out with you guys. Dude, I always tell him when he's in that blazer, he looks like a Russian oligarch.
He looks like a Russian mobster.
He does, man. The bald dude. If he had a Russian accent, I would run. Vanilla the Hexkin says, then go to reclaim. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not worried about it anymore. Got to get on that Brandon. Got to get Brandon on that Joe Williams tip. 1900, no tax, and they had everything. Yeah, taxes are supposed to be used for infrastructure, this and that, but it's amazing. I went to a church today. Oh, Swizzle Sticks. What's up? How does this help Hex? Here's my answer. You ready? I'm going to ask you a question. How does Hex help Morpheus? Tell me, Swizzle Sticks. How does Hex help Morpheus?
Mm-hmm.
Are you insinuating that Morpheus should help Hex? Well, how does Hex help Morpheus? In fact, how does Hex help TitanX? Tell me that, Swizzle Sticks. How does it? Let's flip it back on you. Let's see your answer.
Why does
so
it have
trivial.
to? Hex is done. Hex is its own thing. It's on Pulse Chain now. Hex is dead.
How does Pulse Chain help TitanX? Somebody tell me. How does Pulse Chain help TitanX? How's it help TitanX? I want an answer. I demand an answer right now.
Pulsar.
Pulsar.
Bringing
Well, that too.
communities together. We have some
Yeah.
projects in the works that are bringing people together to break down these barriers.
My kid's in here throwing bottles around. He said, "Sorry, Dad." Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's funny. Oh man, that's great. Well, all right, Ron. I think is there anything else that we missed? I think we pretty much covered everything about Morpheus. There should be some more news coming in the near future, in the next day or two.
Yeah, everybody's on alert. Morpheus can launch anytime within the next 9 days. Okay, and be sure to have TitanX, because you're going to use TitanX to mint Morpheus. And be aware that on day one of Morpheus launch, you're going to get some really cool information. And I might be on stream with some cool people that you know too.
Interesting. Well, we'll keep that in mind, guys. So pay attention. Get in the Telegram, t.me/Morpheus win. I think it's posted in the description down below. Jump in the Telegram, follow the Twitter account, and definitely stay paid attention, because there will be some stuff happening real soon.
Very soon. Very excited.
Indeed. All right, Rags. Well, that was awesome, bro. That was epic. For all 413 of you in here right now,
Nice.
smash the like button or don't. It's up to you. If you got any alpha in this, anything that was insightful, smash the like button, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, and quick question. How does Pulse Chain and Hex help Morpheus? I need answers, guys. Answer in the comments, please. It's important.
It's his first time hearing about Morpheus, so he's got to do research, and then he'll get back to you.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you. Peace.